It was a cold autumn night in the small town of Blackwood, Colorado. The highway outside the town was almost empty, and a thick layer of fog covered the road. Streetlights flickered in the distance as if they were struggling to stay alive. Daniel Harper had been driving for hours. His phone battery was nearly dead, and his eyes felt heavy from the long journey. He was heading toward Denver for a new job, but the weather had turned worse than he expected. Rain began to fall, slowly at first, then harder with every passing minute. As Daniel continued driving through the fog, he noticed an old sign glowing faintly near the side of the road. Blackwood Motel, vacancy. The motel looked like it had been built decades ago. The building was 2 stories tall, with faded paint and dim yellow lights along the balcony. A few windows were completely dark. Daniel hesitated for a moment. Something about the place felt strange, but he was too tired to keep driving. He parked his car and walked toward the motel office. Inside, the air smelled old and dusty. A small television played quietly behind the front desk, showing black and white static. Behind the counter sat an elderly man with gray hair and deep wrinkles on his face. He looked up slowly when Daniel entered. "You looking for a room?" the man asked calmly. Daniel nodded. "Yeah, just for the night." The old man opened a large register book and slowly turned a few pages. Then he grabbed a metal key from the wall behind him. "Room 214, he said. Daniel thanked him, grabbed the key, and walked upstairs. The hallway was quiet. The carpet looked worn out, and the lights above flickered every few seconds. At the very end of the hallway, Daniel saw the number on the door. 214. That he unlocked the door and stepped inside. The room looked normal at first. There was a bed, a small TV, a wooden dresser, and a bathroom. But something about the room felt unusually cold. Daniel placed his bag on the bed and looked around. Then he noticed something strange. The bathroom mirror had words written on it, as if someone had written them with their finger in fog. He stepped closer and wiped the mirror clean. 3 words appeared. "Don't fall asleep." Daniel frowned. He assumed it was a prank from a previous guest. He turned on the television, but the screen only showed static. The sound filled the room with a strange buzzing noise. Daniel turned it off and lay down on the bed. A few minutes later, he finally fell asleep. But at exactly 2:13 in the morning, Daniel suddenly woke up. He heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow footsteps. Step. 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 The footsteps stopped right outside his door. Daniel held his breath. Then came 3 knocks. Knock. 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 A voice spoke softly from the other side. "Front desk." Daniel walked slowly toward the door and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. No one was there. Confused, Daniel stepped back from the door. Suddenly, the knocking started again. But this time, it wasn't coming from the hallway. It was coming from inside the room. Daniel turned around quickly. The sound was coming from the closet. Knock. 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 His heart began to race. Slowly, he opened the closet door. Inside, the closet looked normal except for one strange thing. The back wall looked newer than the rest of the room, like it had been repaired recently. Daniel pushed on the wall carefully. To his surprise, it moved. Behind the wall was a hidden door. Daniel hesitated. Curiosity slowly took over his fear. He opened the hidden door and found a narrow staircase leading down into darkness. He turned on the flashlight on his phone and slowly walked down the stairs. The air became colder with every step. At the bottom of the staircase, Daniel found a hidden basement room. The room was filled with dust and old furniture. But what caught his attention were the photographs covering the walls. Dozens of photographs. Every photo showed different people standing inside room 214. Men. Women. Travelers. All of them looked terrified. Under every photo, a date was written. Daniel noticed something disturbing. The photos went back almost 30 years. Guest after guest. Year after year. Then he saw the most recent photo. It had today's date written under it. Daniel slowly lifted the photo closer to the light. His hands began to shake. The person in the photo was him. Suddenly the lights in the basement turned off. Daniel heard footsteps behind him. He turned around slowly. The old motel owner was standing at the bottom of the stairs. "You weren't supposed to find this place," the old man said quietly. Daniel tried to run upstairs, but the hidden door had already closed. The old man sighed. "Every few years," he said calmly, "room 214 appears." Daniel stared at him in fear. "What do you mean?" The old man smiled faintly. "The motel chooses someone. A traveler who stops here at the right time." Daniel's heart pounded harder. "And by morning," the old man continued, "the room disappears. And so does the guest." The lights went out again. Daniel screamed in the darkness. The next morning, the motel parking lot was quiet. A young woman pulled her car into the lot and walked into the office. "Hi," she said, "do you have a room available?" The old man nodded and handed her a key. Room 213. She walked upstairs and down the hallway. But as she passed the doors, she noticed something strange. Between room 213 and 215, there was another door. A door she hadn't noticed before. The number on the door slowly came into focus. And from inside the room, someone was knocking.